So, I'm a naked sheep. Thanks to Steve. But you know what? Payback? It's a craft.
Hey guys, what's up? Crafty Sheep here with another episode of Crafty Commands. This is episode 2. If you've gotten this far, great. We're all on the same page. Beautiful. Hopefully. Anyways, today we're going to go over the fill command. We're going to go over the simple version of the fill command. You can do a lot with the fill command. I'm going to keep this episode very basic. And then the next episode, I'll get into a little bit more advanced settings of the fill command. I've picked the fill command because it's one of the first commands I learned, and it's one of the most useful. So today we're going to go over the fill command. I'm going to try to show you practical uses for it, how to code it in every type of command block that you have available, different uses for them and the way they work. And we're going to go from there. So today is the basic fill command. So without further ado, let's get started. So we're always going to start with our impulse block. And if you remember, the impulse block is just like a button. It does one thing, one time. Now, the fill command, basically, all it does is fill an area with a block type. Now, it can be used to fill an area with stuff like, say, wheat or replenishing wheat farm. We're not going to get into that right now. It can be used for other block types. It's kind of specific what you can and can't use for it. But it's basically to fill an area with a certain type of block. That includes air. So the first thing I'm going to do, actually, is show you about filling things with air. Because it helps for clearing out space in a really fast manner. So I'm just going to build a small little box here. Okay. Just a little 3x3 box. Okay, so we have a 3x3 box of quartz pillars. It doesn't matter what, this is just an example. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get the coordinates of the area that you want to fill. You don't ever go from here to here, or like from here to here. You always want to go corner to corner, and either top to bottom or bottom to top. It doesn't actually matter. So say I wanted to get rid of this block instantaneously. The first thing I would do is get the coordinates of the bottom corner. So what I like to do, it's easier for me because I have a keyboard, is to type the coordinates in the chat so that I have them somewhere where I can refer to them. Originally, I used to use a notepad and a pen, but I filled up several notebooks with just coordinates, and it got a little tedious after time. It's up to you how you want to record your coordinates. So I'm just going to type in the coordinates in the chat here. If you're on Xbox, you bring up the chat with the right D-pad. And the first coordinate, I believe, was no, I already forgot it. I have a terrible 1685. 1685. Now, just typing numbers in the chat isn't going to do anything. It's just going to, it's like you're saying those numbers, so it's fine. Then 70. Okay. Then 550. 550. Now, something you want to keep in mind when you're doing this. The coordinate of where you're standing is the bottom half of your body. You are 2 blocks tall. So if I wanted to just cut off from 1 block up where my head is, I would have to actually increase my Y value by 1. So where you're standing is always the bottom half of your body. That's where the coordinates are going to relate to. So just keep that in mind. It gets important later on when you're doing a little bit more advanced stuff. So that's the bottom corner here of this structure that I want to get rid of. Then we go to the top corner. So these coordinates are 1, 6, 8, 9. Actually, I'm gonna type just some lines so that I can differentiate between the two types of coordinates, because when you have tons of numbers in the thing here, it can sometimes get confusing. So we're gonna do 1, 6, 8, 9. Okay, 73 and 546. Okay, now we have the coordinates corner to corner, top to bottom. So we're going to go into this impulse block and we're going to enter the command /fill. Okay, we're going to go back and get our coordinates 1685, 70, 550. 1685, 70, 550. Okay, so that's our first set of coordinates. You're going to want to put a space and enter your second set of coordinates, which is 1689, 73, 546. 1689, 73, 546, I believe. I'm going to double check that because I have a really bad memory. 1689, 73, 546. Okay. So far, so good. So we're going to do /fill, which means we're filling an area from coordinate 1 to coordinate 2. And since we want to get rid of this block, we're simply going to type the word air. We're going to fill this area with air. Now, if you remember, this is an impulse block, so it'll only execute once when we give it power. So let's give this bad boy some power. And away it goes. Now there is a maximum limit on how big an area you can do this with. I don't remember exactly what the limit is, but it will tell you inside the command block. Like you see how it says previous output 27 blocks filled? It will tell you syntax area. Area is too big to fill or something like that. It will let you know if it's too big of an area. Now that is the basic fill command. Now what I want to show you guys, pause the video if you need to. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. What I want to show you next is another way to do the same thing. Sometimes it's easier when you're working with small areas. If you're working with a very large area, say I wanted to get rid of that whole building, you always want to use coordinates. It's just much simpler. But if you're working with a small area, there is another way to enter coordinates into command blocks. I think I put this in the wrong spot. I will double check, because I can just go to this corner again. 1685, 7550. Okay, yep. So we're going to build this little block again. We want to get rid of it. Now this is a little bit easier when you're working with small areas. So we're going to go back into the command block. Let's just delete everything. Just go back to, just leave fill, because it's always going to start with /fill. Okay, another way to enter the coordinates is to tell the command block where in relation to the command block itself the area we want to fill is. So you want to pay very close attention to the X, Y, and Z coordinates and how they change as we get to each spot. Now, if you remember, as I said before, the coordinates that are shown in the left-hand side are the bottom part of my body. So the command block itself is at a Y value of 70. So we're going to just make a little note of that so that we know where it is. Command block Y equals 70. Just so we know. I didn't spell block right, but you get my point. Okay. Now we're going to want to pay attention to the the X and Z, because we already know that it's Y70. Okay. So we're going to want to move to our first coordinate. And we're going to want to pay attention to how the numbers change in the X, Y, and Z values. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to move forward 2 blocks. And we're going to watch these numbers. 1, 2. Now the only thing that changed here is the Z coordinate. Goes from 52 to 51 to 50. So these numbers are going backwards. So we're going to want to log Z as -2 because it went backwards 2 blocks in coordination to where the command block is. Okay. Now we need to move to the left 1 to get to the first coordinate. So we're going to move to the left 1. Now you notice that the X value changed here. 86, 85. We're also going into negatives. So we're going to want to make a note that the X value in coordination to the command block is -1. Okay? Now what about the Y value? I'm on Y70. The command block is on Y70. So it's going to have the exact same Y value. So we're just going to make a note, Y equals 0. Okay? So this is our first set of coordinates in relation to the command block. I'm going to put this little line in here to separate it, to make it easier to understand. We're going to go back to the command block, okay, and we need to get over there from the command block. We need to log the X, Y, and Z differences. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work with Y, because I want to get up and over. So the command block is at Y70, okay, so we're going to go up 1, 2, okay, this is where we want to be standing. This is the Y level we want to be standing at. So we're going to make a note that Y is +2. Okay? Because we went up 2 blocks for the second coordinate. Now I'm going to go straight. And we're going to pay attention to the numbers and see what changes. Okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Looks like the Z coordinate is what's changing here. Okay, so in coordination to the block, 52, 51, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the second relation is going to be Z -6. Okay, everybody following me so far? Now we just need to get to the right to where we're going. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 blocks. Okay, so when we move over here, it looks like the X coordinate is what's changing. So let's pay attention to it. 1686, 87, 88, 89. And it is exactly 1, 2, 3 blocks. And it's positive. The numbers are going up. So the X coordinate is going to be +2. Okay? So now we have the same thing we had before. You've got 3 sets of coordinates, but they're just in relation to where the command block is. So we're going to go down here. We're going to go back into the command block. Okay? So we just had the /fill. I'm going to take a look at our numbers. Okay. So you always want to enter the numbers in order. X, Y, Z. Now I log this as Z, X, Y just for a note. But when you enter it in the command block, it always has to be X, Y, Z. So the way that you enter it in coordination to the command block, you use this little squiggly. Okay, I believe the appropriate term for it is called a tilde. I call it a squiggly. I will continue to call it a squiggly in the future, but the appropriate term for it is tilde. It's 1 tilde for x, 1 tilde for y, and 1 tilde for z. So, let's look at our coordinates. X is -1, so we have tilde, -1, okay, or squiggly. Maybe I will use tilde, I don't know. Okay, x is -1, y is 0, because this is the first one. You want to do another tilde. Now you don't have to put 0 in here, just leave it blank. Okay, if it's on the same value, you don't put a number in there. So we're just going to do another tilde for the z coordinate. And z is +2. So we're just going to put 2. You don't have to put a plus. The only time you have to put a negative, any of this plus or minus stuff is if it's negative. 2, the system already knows that it's positive. It assumes that any number you put in there is positive unless you let it know that it's negative. So that's our first coordinate. Now you're going to put a space in between the two sets of coordinates like you did before. So let's take a look at our second one. Okay, always x, y, z. So our first one is x, which is +2. Okay, we'll put a space in here. A tilde for x, 2. Okay, then we're going to go y, which is also +2. Another tilde, 2. Okay, and let's see, what's our z? Our z is -6. Oh, don't put a space. Another tilde, and -6. This tells the command block exactly which direction it's looking, where to fill the area. It's another way to enter it. It's a lot more complicated. It's much more useful later on when you're trying to affect other command blocks near you. But I just wanted to at least introduce you into doing it this way so that you kind of get an idea that you can do it this way. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. I'm going to type air, because that's what we're filling, and then we're going to give him some power. Let's see what happens. Wah, wah. And z is +2. Okay, we're going to go back up, look at our notes. Our z is -2 for our first coordinate. So we're going to enter in -2. Our first coordinate. There, you have 3 tildes and 3 coordinates. Yay! Same thing. So that's 2 different ways to enter the coordinates. Most people prefer to do the 1685, the numbers. I actually prefer that myself. But later on, when you get into a little bit more advanced commands, when you're trying to affect command blocks like 2 or 3 blocks away from the original block, that's when the tilde stuff kind of comes into play. But I just wanted to give you an introduction to it so that you knew how to use it and how it works. Hey guys, Future Sheep here. I realize I have made a grievous error. Do you remember when I told you that the coordinates are dependent on where your feet are? This is very, very true. So when I originally did this video, I was not really standing in the right spot. It's, yeah, not really standing in the right spot. So if it takes into consideration where my feet are, it's going to be everything on this level, including your chest full of diamonds, or you're the chest full of diamonds, or you go down here, this chest full of diamonds. So, so if you don't want to lose all your diamonds, please make sure that you only include the coordinates of the actual structure. I have a tendency to write the coordinates just outside the structure when there's nothing around it. But if you want to be exact and just get the structure, you would need the coordinates here, which include the bottom half of my body. And you would want the coordinates here. So these are the two actual corners. Corner 1, corner 2. So please keep that in mind. I don't want anybody to delete anything that they shouldn't delete. So when you're doing this, if you just want to include just the structure and you're doing some precise detail work, corner 1, corner 2. It's just something I tend to do when there's an area that's got a lot of extra space. It doesn't matter if the other stuff gets deleted. It's a habit of mine that I guess I need to get out of if I'm going to do proper tutorials. But yes, please remember corner 1, corner 2. Those are the actual coordinates you want if you just want this structure and nothing around it to be deleted. Really sorry about that. I'm still new to this teaching thing. But anyways, back to the rest of the video. Okay. Now I showed you how to, clear stuff. Now you can use the fill command for more than just that. It's just, the first thing I used it for was to clear space. So I figured we'd go over that. So, if we go back in here, you can use this command to fill it with most blocks. So, say we wanted to fill it with wood. Okay. Say there was nothing here, right? Let's just get rid of this. There's nothing here but air. Should have just used the command block to clear it out. Oh well. Okay. So, say we wanted to fill it with wood. There we go, wood. Wanted to fill it with... Ooh, don't delete the coordinates. Stone. Stone. So we wanted to fill it with... lava. Lava. You get the point. I'm gonna clean that lava up by filling it with air. Get rid of the source blocks. That'll take a little while to go away, but that did work, right? Yeah. Okay. Alright, so that's the fill command with an impulse block. You can kind of play around with it, get a feel for it, whatever makes you happy. I want to try to show you guys in every episode when I go over a command ways to use the command that I'm going over in every type of block. Now that can get a little bit challenging, but I'm going to try to show you a practical example of where you might use the fill command in, say, a chain block. Okay? Alright, so let's clear this command block completely. No commands in here. Okay, and we're going to take a chain block. See, that won't work. Have to make sure the arrows are going in the same direction. Okay. So let's say we have, I don't know, let's see, what kind of blocks do we have? Let's just do this. Let's say we have a doorway. Let's put a doorway over here. 2 blocks for people's heads. We have a doorway to some grand castle that I haven't built yet. Okay, and say when you approach the doorway, you want to be greeted, and then you'd like the door to open. Now we're going to be doing this with command blocks. It can be done with redstone. I mean, I don't think the greeting can be done with redstone, but this is all command blocks. I use very little redstone. So let's say you want to be greeted and you want the door to open. So to open the door, we want to fill these 4 blocks with air to make the wood go away. Pretty simple. So we're going to get the first corner coordinates. Just 1682. Okay. 70. And 557. Okay, and then we're going to get the second corner, which would be here. As I said before, keep in mind that the coordinates are where your feet are. So I'm going to want to stand on a block here to get this particular coordinate. I'm going to put a little line here, just so as not to confuse ourselves. We're going to do 1683, okay, 71, and 557. Excuse me one moment while I get rid of the zombie sounds. Oh. Thank you. Okay. We're gonna put this frame back, and we're gonna put the door back. We have the coordinates. Corner to corner, we have the coordinates. Okay. So the first thing we want this door to do is to greet somebody when it comes up to it, right? We want the door to greet somebody. So we're going to use the very simple command from the last video. It's just a say command. Say hi. Okay? Leave everything the same. Now we're going to use the chain block. We want the chain block to open the door. So we're going to use the /fill command again. Fill. Okay? And we're going to enter our coordinates. 1682, 70, 557, 70, 557, 1683, 71, 557. We're going to put air because we want the door to open. We want those blocks to go away. Now, if you remember before with chain blocks, they have conditional and unconditional. If we just want this door to open no matter what, then I would leave this as unconditional. Because as long as this block gets a redstone signal, this will run. But I want the door to say hi first. I want it to say hi, and then I want the door to open. So I'm going to set this as conditional. So this block has to successfully say hi before this block will open the door. We're just going to use a button for right now, just to keep things simple. Any old button will do. I would normally set this like into the wall and then have the button here or something, but this is just an example. So it should say hi and the door should open. See? Said hi and the door opens. So there's a practical use for the chain block as a fill command. I'm not going to get into any more advanced. I mean, I could show you how to close the door after and all that, but I'm trying to keep things simple for the basic tutorial. Now, why would you want to use a repeating command block for a fill command? Why would you want something to fill again and again and again and again? Well, one of the things that I've used it for in the past, and it's not necessarily something you have to do, but it's something I've used before in the past. I like to use it in like forges and stuff like that. Let's see, I am looking for a staircase, because you know me, I like to make things pretty. So I'm just gonna do this, and I'm just gonna build a small little, like, I'm going to build a small little... Okay, I've been getting my teeth pulled, because they're in bad shape. Apparently I can't say the word that very well anymore. That. Okay, so I'm going to build a small little that here. Okay, now with the fill command, it's always corner to corner. Okay? Now we don't want it on top because it's just going to fill everything on top. So we want it right in here. So this is going to be our first coordinate. 1686. 70, 548, 548. Okay, I'm gonna make a little line so I'm not confused as to which coordinate's what. Okay, and then the other corner here. 1687, 70, 547. Okay, those are our two coordinates. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna fill this with lava. Once I can find the lava buckets. Lava. Okay. Anybody that knows anything about Minecraft knows there's no such thing as a replenishable lava source. It does not exist. But with the repeating command block, you can make it exist, which is something I really like. It's the way that I like to use it. So we're just gonna put a repeating command block here. Okay. We're gonna go /fill, just like before. Not Philly. Fill. I'm gonna enter our coordinates. 1686, 70. 1686, 70. $5.47. Okay, second set. 1687, 70, 547. 547. I see an error here already. I don't think that these are the same. Yeah, the first one is supposed to be 548. Please make sure you check your coordinates. I cannot tell you how many times I've had one number off or wrong, and it's chaos. So please make sure you always check your coordinates before running a command. 1686, 75, 48. 1687, 75, 47. Okay. And we're gonna fill this with lava. Okay. Now this is one of those situations where you don't really want this to require redstone. You just kind of want this to always be an infinite lava source. So we're going to go into the settings here. And we're going to change this to always active. Now right now, as it's running, if you look, 0 blocks filled. Because there's already lava in there. But right now, it's set to run 20 times a second to fill this with lava. Now, normally on a small server with very few command blocks, this would be fine. When you get into hundreds of command blocks, like I have, you want to try to set a little bit of a delay when these repeating command blocks go off, just so it gives the system time to catch up, and you don't have issues with lag. So I'm just going to set a 1 second delay, which is 20 ticks on this, just so that it eases the server a little bit. Now, I don't know how this will work in creative, so I'm gonna just pop into survival here. Do I have 16 buckets or 1? 16. Okay, cool. Just gonna pop into survival /fill. No, not /fill. Oh, I've been doing /fill all day. Okay. Game mode. S for survival. Okay, now I'm in survival. So now, whenever I grab this, it's just gonna automatically fill it up. You have a replenishable lava source, which I think is a pretty cool way to use a repeating command block for the fill command. It's just one way. There's hundreds of ways that you can use these blocks, guys. I'm just trying to give you some practical examples of things you might want to use them for. So, but this is one of my favorite uses for fill and the repeating command block. So it will never run out of lava because that command block every second is filling that area with lava if there's not any. So I don't know, I think that's really cool. So we're just going to go back and pop back into creative. Okay. Delete all the lava out of my inventory. Oh god, I have lots of lava in my inventory that I don't want. Go away. I have an NPC egg. Moving on. Okay, so I do have a use for the fill command for the minecart command block, but it involves a little bit more advanced settings for the fill command than we've gone over in this video. So I'm going to actually save that for next time. But I did go over the impulse block, how you can use that to fill areas with air or with other things. Practical use for the chain block, like a door opening after it greets you. And how to create a unlimited lava source using the repeating command block. So hopefully this all made sense. Please feel free, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'm pretty good at getting back to people. So hopefully I explained this well enough and you guys enjoyed, and keep an eye out next week for another episode where we go into a little bit more advanced commands with the fill command. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and you stay crafty. Bye!